Hello, Natasha. How are you?
Hi, Michelle. I'm great. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for joining us and telling
My
us all about
absolute
you.
pleasure.
Fantastic. So I don't know if you want to start and tell us what's been going on over there.
Well, as you may or may not have heard, the eastern side of Australia, which is where I live, has been in quite a dreadful drought, actually. And then just to expand on that, we got some pretty hideous bushfires. But that's the sort of country we are. Land of sweeping plains, as
Mhm.
our song goes, one of our national anthems. And so it is prone to bushfires, it is prone to drought. And when I would normally be up at this time, I'd be out walking, and we're actually having rain. And I can tell you, I haven't seen rain at my house here for over 12 months. So,
Wow.
not rain like this. So, I actually didn't go for my walk. I had a shower instead, a novel idea.
You've got water. That's great.
Yeah. Well, we're on tank water here. We don't have town water from the council and the dams, so we actually do rely on that wet stuff up there. So it's a real blessing. Yeah.
Gosh, you were saying before about having to buy bottled water. So how much is a bottle of water?
Well, we do buy bottled water, but our bottles are massive tankfuls of water.
Mm.
So we buy a big tank, so maybe 1,000 litres to 3,000 litres. We get delivered on the back of a truck, and that goes into our tank, so then we can use the water, because otherwise it would be too expensive. Bottles of water range from about $1 for 500 mils, which would be about 50p, the way the dollar is at the moment, to about $3 a bottle. So we actually buy it in the 1,000 litres in order to flush the toilet, shower, drink in our own home. Yeah. Yep, it's
Nice,
pretty out
nice.
there.
Yay. Oh God.
It's pretty out there considering there's the situation, and yet here I am talking to you on my phone in Scotland and Australia, and I live in regional Australia in Tamworth, so that's sort of the
Mhm.
middle of New South Wales, about 6 hours northern inland drive from Sydney north. So yeah,
Okay.
it's between Sydney and Brisbane. So yeah,
Mhm.
aside from all
Fantastic.
that, not having water, I'm talking to you in Scotland.
I
So.
know technology, at least technology is kind of working tonight. It's not quite going according to plan, but we'll do this in the meantime. Um, so, and I guess, did you want to share with all the listeners and watchers of the video later about your show that you're taking part in, rather?
So, well, I'm sure you've heard of that huge band, ABBA. So I am lucky. We've got a very good theatre community up in Tamworth, and we've got a beautiful 400-seat tiered what do you call it, theatre that would rival a lot of the theatres over there, I'm sure, not to set up a competition or anything. And I have been
Mhm.
very lucky to be cast as Tanya in Mamma Mia. So we
Fantastic.
actually start rehearsals for that on Wednesday. I
Ooh,
am the oldest person in the cast, Michelle, at the ripe
gosh.
old age of 49.
You don't look a day.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I'm hence my walking at 4 o'clock in the morning. So to get nice and fit and show fit for Mamma Mia, which goes on in May. So really looking forward to that.
Wow. So if anybody wanted to buy tickets, if they were visiting Australia, how would they go about that?
Yeah, entertainmentvenues.com.au in Tamworth.
Ah,
Come and
excellent.
see the show. It's on for the whole of May. One of the
Yay.
best renditions of Mamma Mia I reckon you'll see.
Wow.
But who's
See,
biased?
you must be dead excited.
I am. Look, I've been a huge ABBA fan my whole life. So to go to rehearsals every night and sing ABBA, yeah, very excited. I think I'm probably the only cast member who would remember ABBA when they were actually out and about touring. And of course, they came to Australia in the 70s, and it was really Australia that kicked off their career. So obviously, they'd done well in Eurovision. But when they came to Australia, it was the Australian public that really shot them into worldwide stardom.
Wow. Good stuff. So do you get a lot of tourists there in Tamworth?
Yeah, funny you should ask actually, because we're right smack back in the middle of the 48th Tamworth Country Musical Festival, and that brings thousands. And there was talk this year of maybe having to cancel it because of our water situation. That kind of outweighed with tourists coming into the town and, you know, infusing money into businesses that have been hit really hard by the drought. And so council and the business chamber decided to go ahead with it. All the caravans are here, there's just thousands of people here, and of course a lot of people in this country do understand what drought is, because we are the driest continent in the world. And so a lot of people have brought their own water, realised that they can't go to our local pool because it's shut to shower. So everyone's got a lot of baby wipes with them, let's just say. So, but this festival attracts tens of thousands of people, and we get a lot of people from Nashville. So most people think of Nashville as country music, and this is now on par. We have our Golden Guitars on tomorrow night, and they're huge. We have a lot of international stars here, and of course our own Australian stars too. Kasey Chambers, Keith Urban, who of course married to Nicole Kidman, who is very famous in Nashville, Troy Cassar-Daley, Adam Brand, like they are huge country star names here, but also overseas. So yeah, we're right smack bang in the 48th Tamworth Country Music Festival, and like I said, on par with every worldwide country music festival. So we're pretty lucky.
That's cool. Wow. Gosh, I'd never heard of that.
So famous.
Yeah. So I guess when Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman comes for the festival, where do they stay?
Oh, just a tent out the backyard. We invite them over for a barbie, you know.
Fantastic.
No, they just half the time, because you know they are so busy, they fly in for the festival and then fly out again. Keith will often do the main street is Peel Street, so he'll often do a peely. Really lovely, down-to-earth people, and a lot of the country music people are, but Keith Urban especially, really fantastic guy, played in the Town Hall last year. I don't think he's got an individual show this year, but he will be making a guest appearance at the Golden Guitars. So yeah, but a lot of the time, you know, they just stay in our local motels, and our big drive, especially this last 12 months, again being with the drought and then the fires compounding that, is buy local, stay local, support local. So that's what a lot of not only locals but the tourists and the visitors and the international visitors as well are doing. So, which is great.
Yeah. Wow. So what else don't I know, or any of the listeners might not know, that only a local would know of the area?
Well, of the Tamworth region, we've got some fabulous places that you can come to visit. Come and look at the Oxley Lookout. We've got incredible regional museums. Tamworth was one of the first places to get electric light in Australia, and that museum and those lights are still down in the main street. A lot of the streets, possibly like the UK, have got very high curbing from when we used to have horse and carts back in the day. And we have, like I said, a lot of regional museums. We've had the Archies, which is one of Australia's biggest portrait exhibitions that usually get housed in the Sydney Museum and the Sydney Art Gallery, and that gets to come up here. And of course the whole region, the whole of New England, Northwest, is very lucky to have regional art museums, theatres, incredible sporting grounds. We've got the ALEC, which is the Australian Equine Centre, pretty much one of the biggest and well-renowned equine centres in the world. A lot of people travel to come and do that. We've got, because Scone, about an hour down the road, which is literally just around the corner for us, is one of the big horse capitals of the world. A lot of Emirates people own horses in that area.
Wow.
So it's, it's a very happening town as far as sporting, as far as the arts, as far as the music culture. Very cool town to visit as far as Tamworth itself, but Australia. far out. What can you say about it? You can have all the seasons in one day. We can, yes, be in drought.
Wow.
So we
Mhm.
have been in drought. We've had the hideous fires in
Mhm.
Canberra, our capital city.
Yeah.
It then became the most congested city in the world. It surpassed
Wow.
Delhi due to the smoke from the bushfires. And then literally
Mm.
the next day it got hammered with hail and snow. So
Gosh.
she can be slightly predictable, Mother Australia, sometimes.
Yeah. Wow. But like
And if you look at
Scotland.
our,
Mm.
yeah, I love Scotland. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
yes, you can be -1 and snowing in one part of Australia and 47
Mm.
degrees in another part. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's an
Incredible.
interesting country and a beautiful
Mhm.
country. A lot of people don't realise how large it is. Like you can take off from Sydney, New South Wales to fly
Mhm.
overseas, but 5 hours later you're still actually flying over Australia. I mean, it
Yeah.
is huge. So
Wow.
yeah.
Gosh. How easy is it to get to Tamworth from, say, if somebody was flying into Sydney or Perth or?
You can actually fly.
Mhm.
All our major airlines do. They're very small planes.
Mhm.
They're 10 to 40 seater planes, but you actually can fly from Sydney direct,
Okay.
Brisbane direct, and
Mhm.
then of course Perth and Melbourne actually you have to fly to Sydney first to get the connecting flights, or it really is just a 5 to 6 hour drive from
Mhm.
Sydney, say, to
Okay.
Tamworth, or from Brisbane about 4 hour drive south. So yeah,
Okay. Is
easy.
there local buses as well, maybe, or just in
Oh
case
yeah,
somebody
there's
didn't want to
buses and
drive? Mhm.
yes, actually, yeah, there is. There's buses that I think about 2 go every day, 7 days a
Mhm.
week. The trains are there. There's a CountryLink train that
Okay.
every day there's a service. So yeah, we're
Mhm.
pretty well connected to the rest of the major
Yeah.
cities. It's all good.
But you've got the benefits of the countrysides with
Yeah,
kangaroos, I
we're
believe
very
you heard.
lucky.
Mhm.
Yep, I can look out. I'm actually looking out my window now. It's gone a bit lighter because, of course, it's quite early in the morning here as we're speaking, and I'm looking out at a kangaroo, and it's got a little Joey with it. So that's kind of cute.
Nice. Wow. So you visited other parts of Australia. Is there something that you would recommend? What's been your best highlight as a local visit in other parts?
Well, I've been very lucky enough to live in all different parts of Australia. So I've
Mhm.
spent a lot of time in Sydney, I've spent a lot of time in Queensland and Melbourne as well. So again, I do like the arts. So I love going to the cultural centres. Western Australia, though, I've got a dear friend in Western Australia, and I visited her many times close to Perth, the capital city there, but she did work in a mining place called Port Hedland. And you fly into that and you think, crumbs, where am I? You fly over
Oh,
just red dirt, and you can, as far as the eye can see, is flat and
wow.
nothing. And that was really incredible. So there's incredible places that you can see. Obviously, some are environmental as well. We've
Mm.
just again had the big bushfires, as I mentioned earlier on, and they saved a huge forest of Wollemi pines. Now, Wollemi
Mm.
pines are some of the oldest trees in the world, which were around
Wow.
during dinosaur times, and they had
Gosh.
at the time a secret service, so to speak, of firefighters to go into the area, which is an unknown area to the public, to go in
Oh,
and make sure that those Wollemi pines were saved, which they did. So
oh, good.
yeah,
Mm.
that's pretty incredible. But we do have on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, which is the hinterland
Mm.
um, of the Queensland area, that we do have a lot of ancient forests up there as well. So
Oh, wow.
there's a lot to do, whether you're into outside
Mm.
sporting or hiking, and of course the beaches. That's my love. I
Yay.
don't live anywhere near a beach now, which is the
Oh,
one thing that
mm.
I do miss about living up here in the country. But the
Yeah.
beaches are fantastic, just
Wow.
beautiful. I'm sure you've
Wow.
seen Bondi Rescue.
Yes. Yay. That might be a wee bit over touristy now, maybe. Is there?
Yeah, Look, I love both. It's like when I travel, I like going to the touristy spots because you know, you meet other people and you see other people, and you've seen those things that you're familiar with. And then, of course, Australia being so big, you can easily get off the beaten track, go and visit Kakadu National Park, go to the Salt Lakes in South Australia, head up north and see crazy animals like crocodiles literally in the backyard. You can go on wonderful animal tours and, you know, see snakes and spiders and koalas and kangaroos and all these crazy animals that we have here that, you know, a lot of the other countries in the world just don't have it. They're really specific to Australia because we were so remote for a while. But yeah, so much to see and do, no matter what genre of travelling you like to do. And you can do it by, you know, rail, bus, car. Hiring cars over here is a very easy thing to do. So, and of course planes. So yeah, it's a great country to visit.
Awesome. So on a lot of people's mind with climate change and everything, trying to cut back on their O2 emissions, and I guess just being a wee bit more travel savvy when it comes to over tourism and stuff. Is there places in Australia that are affected, do you think, with over tourism that maybe people should try to avoid? Or
look, our local councils in all areas, and especially with areas of national significance and importance to the environment and the flora and fauna, are very good at keeping that at bay. We know what we have. We know that we have national treasures in beaches and rainforests and walkways. And so most of our areas that do need to protect it are. We have a lot of councils, we're very eco-friendly over here, a lot of recycling plans going on over here, a lot of reuse, reduce, recycle. So the area is very conscious. And when I say area, the area is a whole of Australia. We've, you know, pretty much banned the plastic bag in all our major supermarkets. Don't use straws in pubs and clubs. If you want a straw, you either bring your own metal straw, you can buy a metal straw, or there is paper straws in some areas. So being a very drought-stricken country too, very conscious of water, you go to hotels and there's always signs up. Reuse your towel if you can, you know, have short showers, that sort of thing. So over tourism, I really don't see as a problem. The local councils, and I can't speak for government, I don't know it well enough, but excuse me, local councils that I do know of really do well to protect the local areas, because of course they do want tourism, because that's what keeps us going. Because we are such a remote country, we do rely on that tourism dollar as well, and rightly so, because it's a fabulous, you know, there's so many fabulous places to visit. But the environmental impact on people with tourism, like I said, local councils are very aware of that and continue to grow with whatever we can get. We're very forthcoming in thinking. You know, I think we're one of the highest people to embrace all new mobile phones, for example, and therefore we were one of the highest per capita to embrace recycling mobile phones, making sure the batteries went to right places, making sure screens could be done. So like I say, local government does set up, you know, precautions to make sure that tourism doesn't impact us, but we can impact tourism by making a good impression. That's for sure.
Fantastic! Wow,
that's
no quite impressive.
So
yeah,
that's literally off the top of my head, but from what I know and you know, in places that I've worked. So yeah.
Wow, awesome. Gosh, what else? Since we don't have any other questions, if there's anything else, feel free to share of what's going on, how things you hope will go, or anything.
Well, I hope our Mother Nature calms down a bit soon. The good thing about that is, though, that I think it's always a good reminder when, you know, the weather goes a bit crazy and the bushfires have been hideous. It's actually brought a community a lot closer together.
Mhm.
And by community, I don't mean just the locals and just the states and just the country. We've got 7 different nations over here. We've got people from Japan and America
Mhm.
and the UK over here fighting fires for us, looking
Gosh.
after animals, hopefully
Mhm.
soon trying to help people rebuild their homes.
Mhm.
I'm a huge animal lover. I save animals all the time, a bit mad. I actually work to buy animal food. But we've had over 1 billion animals die in
Mm.
these recent bushfires. So
Mm.
having people come over and see what it is actually like firsthand, and then, you know, either help out or, you know, spend their dollar in a local pub or club or something like that would be
Mm.
really helpful at the moment, because at the moment just the east coast, but she's in a bit of a bad way, but still,
Mm.
as everyone is saying, please come and visit us and please come and give us a hand even. It would be great. But Australia as a whole, beautiful
Mhm.
country, such a healthy country to live in, very, very, you know, open and outdoors, because we do have normally such an incredible climate. So we're
Mhm.
very, very lucky. And basically, if you wanted to see different environments in one place, this is the place to come. You can ski, you can surf, you can water ski, you can hang glide. We have actually in this area in Manila, we have the National World Championship hang gliding competition.
Oh
So
wow. Gosh.
yeah, for something that you think is quite remote, we do have a lot
Mhm.
of incredible things to do here. But that's
Awesome.
Australia.
Cool. If per se, if somebody's not able to come travel all the way to Australia, is there something if they want to help with the situation just now? Is there a charity or anything there that you know of that are taking in
There are a
funds?
lot of charities actually,
Mm,
and you always have to be careful, I think, when you're online going into
yeah.
reputable charities. But of
Mm,
course, the Salvation Army, the Red Cross, St. Vincent de Paul, the RSPCA, we've all got similar charities like that. They're our big
mhm,
ones that a lot of the international stars and national stars who are raising money putting into, and then those charities are then dishing out funds to
mhm.
the people who need it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. I guess,
My
yeah, and
pleasure.
gosh, and you're almost ready time for work.
I am. I've at least had the shower bit, so that's a good start for me. Thanks heaps, Michelle.
Oh, no worries. Thanks for joining us. I'll speak to you soon.
Okay.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.